Also, it's reports this morning that Verizon is very interested in buying Charter Communications. The latest from Bloomberg News is that Verizon CEO Lowell McAdam went to Liberty CEO Craig Moffett about a Charter deal. Liberty is the largest holder of Charter stock, and we know that John Malone has also been vocal about deals in recent weeks. Well, joining us on the phone now is Craig Moffett, Senior Research Analyst at MoffettNathanson. Craig is neutral on Verizon with a $53 price target, and he has a buy on Charter, a $337 price target. And we can see that Verizon is lower, Charter higher, so obviously something is going on. Craig, what do you think makes most sense here?
Well, look, this is the beginning of what everybody has been anticipating as the biggest mating dance in media and telecommunications that any of us have ever seen. We've got sort of all the stars aligning in a Trump administration that people at least assume will be a bit more permissive with respect to consolidation, and the end of the so-called broadcast incentive auction that has kept people from talking to each other for anti-collusion reasons while the auction was going on, and now that's about to end. So the gates are being flung open, and I think you're going to see every conceivable combination put onto the drawing board over the next couple of months.
If indeed it were to be Verizon and Charter, that would add broadband and also video for Verizon. Obviously, that's a good thing for Verizon. It's been looking for content. Can it afford it?
Well, first, let me. I'll come back to whether it can afford it in a second, and the short answer is I doubt it. But remember, Charter is not a content company, and in the same way that when AT&T bought DirecTV, they didn't buy a content company. DirecTV was just a distributor, and Charter is just a distributor. So the difference between Charter and DirecTV is that Charter is a physical infrastructure, and I think if Verizon decides to make the bid for Charter, then what they would be signaling is not a strategy anything like AT&T's about content. It would be a strategy about trying to get a wired infrastructure to support a much denser wireless network for the future. Their argument, I think, would be that the future wireless network needs a lot more wires than they can provide on their own, and the place to get them is the cable industry. Now, that strategic vision makes some sense to me.
Yeah, and so, but do both strategies make sense to you, Craig? You know, AT&T, Time Warner, as well as this potential combination?
They can't both be right. One of them is, I think, likely to be profoundly wrong. Now, I don't know whether this deal will happen. As I said, I'm a skeptic that you will see Verizon for Charter, but simply signaling that the asset that we need is a dense wired infrastructure is a completely different strategy than what AT&T has signaled, which is we're diversifying away from the wireless business and we want to own content instead.
So, Craig,
both of those
who
things
is wrong?
Can't be right. So one of them is making a strategic mistake.
And which one is it?
My intuition is that Verizon's strategy of network densification is actually a more sensible strategy, and that, you know, for all the, I think right now the market sentiment around AT&T is quite positive, and people think that, well, AT&T has a story to tell, and it's trying to combine the vertical market, the vertical value chain in a compelling way. I think that story could very quickly change to, wait a second, AT&T has become a very levered company with a shrinking wireless business, a shrinking wireline business, and now a shrinking satellite TV business as well, and that they've actually dug themselves into a deeper hole rather than the other way around.